Hi everyone. This week we're going to start a new series. And this series is about deconstructing the pop culture references of the global sensation of the TV show Friends. Friends is not only well renowned internationally for native English speakers, but it is extremely popular for English language learners. It's a great show to watch when you are trying to understand and improve your listening skills. As many of you know, Friends is considered to be a sitcom. That is the category. The thing about American sitcoms is they are full of pop culture references. And pop culture references can improve your enjoyment of a show or leave you wondering why a joke is funny. So I'm going to explain to you the pop culture references that are used in the show Friends. Once you understand pop culture references, the show is more fun to watch. So I have decided to break down each episode of Friends and explain the pop culture references buried within. I have also included some extra information for words and phrases that I haven't explained in the description box below. Grab a cup of coffee and let's begin with episode 1, the one with the new roommate.
And that's when it hit me, how much Barry looks like Mr. Potato Head.
Mr. Potato Head, who is referenced by Rachel right here, is a toy. It is a standard classic American toy that most kids had in childhood, and you can move noses and eyes and arms and hands and everything around to build the Mr. Potato Head that you want.
Just try to think of nice, calm things. Raindrops on roses and
The reason that Phoebe started to sing to Rachel here is in response to Monica telling her to think of nice, calm things. And for any of you that have never seen the movie, The Sound of Music, which is a classic in English-speaking culture, do yourself a favor and watch it. The children get very scared in the movie in a thunderstorm. And they run into the nanny's room, played by Julie Andrews, and she sings, "These are a few of my favorite things to calm them all down." So in order to calm Rachel down in the scene, Phoebe decided to start singing the song from the show to calm her down.
Oh, this is a Dear Diary moment.
This is such a part of 70s or 80s and 90s culture. My understanding is that Dear Diary was used somewhere in the 1700s, I think, in a classic novel. English-speaking children all over the world used to get these little diaries, and they would write their daily feelings in it, especially when they were a teenager. And you were meant to start the passage with, "Dear Diary," like you were talking to your diary. And then you would begin by saying, "Today we blah, 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 blah." And so Dear Diary is associated with a confession, usually a teenaged angst confession that was poured out over the pages in your diary. And with Monica's exciting date with Paul, the wine guy, who we find out just sells wine, it was a Dear Diary moment. It was a confession. And that's why Chandler said it.
Gotta go,
A wandering?
change.
In this clip, Monica can't find her words, and she just says, "I've got to go, and Ross finishes with a wondering, because this is a classic song that many of us know from childhood. I believe that it started as a German folk song and it was translated into English, and there's some yodeling in it. And most kids in English-speaking culture have heard the song. The song in English is called The Happy Wanderer, and many, many, many people have done renditions of it, and we all know it. So if you want a bit of a laugh and you want to understand that just a little bit more, please, by all means, look up The Happy Wanderer and listen to the song.
Well, you gotta understand, between us, we haven't had a relationship that's lasted longer than a Mento.
The funny thing about that line is that a Mento is a mint candy, and it's very, very popular in the United States, and it doesn't take very long to eat. So that's why he says, like between Joey and him, they have not had a relationship that's lasted longer than the time that it takes to chew this candy. So don't ask their advice about the breakup of Ross's marriage because they don't know.
Marriage is the most sacred...
See, Joanie loves Chachi. That's the difference.
Joanie Loves Chachi is a spin-off show. So a spin-off means you've got a very famous show, for example, Cheers. And then you get a spin-off show, for example, Frasier, where Frasier Crane, the character in Cheers, ended up getting his own show. So a spin-off is when one or two characters of one show morph into another show, like Joey did after Friends ended. Some people don't know that, but there were 2 seasons of a show called Joey, which was a spin-off of Friends. And Joanie Loves Chachi was a spin-off of the very popular 70s show called Happy Days, which was set in the 1950s. And Joanie, Richie Cunningham's sister, and Chachi, her boyfriend, had a spin-off show called Joanie Loves Chachi. And Rachel is basically saying, Joanie loved Chachi. That's why the marriage worked and they could get married, because she's watching a rerun on the TV of their wedding and using that to make herself feel better that she should have run out on Barry because she didn't love him the way that Joanie loved Chachi.
How long it's been since I grabbed a spoon? Do the words Billy, don't be a hero mean anything to you?
Billy, Don't Be a Hero was a very famous song. It was released in 1974 by a group called Paper Lace. Most of us, especially in the age range of people the same ages as the Friends cast, and we know that song, and he's basically saying that, you know, the song was released in 1974. And so he's making a bit of a joke that it's been that long since he dated someone or asked a woman out, which is obviously not true because he would have not been very old at that point, but he's making a reference to a pretty old song at the time in order to say, it's been a while since I asked a woman out and have no idea what to do.
Oh, good. Lenny and Squiggie are here.
Here, Monica refers to Chandler and Joey as Lenny and Squiggie. Lenny and Squiggie were 2 characters that came out of the Laverne and Shirley show, also an old 70s show. They were played by Michael McKean and David Lander, and they were the neighbors of Laverne and Shirley. They were like 1950s greasers. So you can see in the picture sort of what that looks like. If you've watched the movie Grease, you'll understand what I mean. And they were idiots, basically. And so she's saying, oh, great, the 2 idiots are still here. And she knows she has to face them after her date with Paul, the wine guy.
I'm Liza Minnelli.
The last reference I'm going to talk about is the last line of the show where Chandler says, I'm in Las Vegas, I'm Liza Minnelli. He wants to tell him about another dream because the show opened up with him talking about that a dream he had in his school cafeteria. He's ending the first episode by talking about a dream he had the night before. Liza Minnelli was the daughter of Judy Garland, who famously played Dorothy in the movie The Wizard of Oz. Many of you may have seen it. Liza Minnelli was just an absolute performer and a stage legend, and she did an incredible rendition of the song New York, New York. She was a staple in Broadway in New York and in the theater. She had an amazing theater voice. She's been in movies like Arthur with Dudley Moore, and she's done many guest appearances over the course of her life. She's almost 80, I believe, and is a big voice and a big personality and a big part of our culture. She's a cultural icon. And because she was a huge Broadway star, you kind of get the idea that this is where he's going with his dream. Something very theatrical. I hope you enjoyed these cultural references. There's just a couple of little fun facts that I'm going to give you now, a couple of little inconsistencies in the show. First of all, Rachel refers to Barry as Barry Finkel. He is only ever referred to as Barry Finkel in this first pilot episode. He becomes Barry Farber the next time we come across him. And you may have noticed, and if you are a big Friends fan, you definitely would have noticed, that the numbers on the doors are 4 and 5. Joey and Chandler's apartment is 4, and Rachel and Monica's apartment is 5. But this changed. We didn't see the numbers on the door in episode 7, where they had a blackout in New York City. But we do see them again in episode 8, the one where Nana dies, and up until episode 6, we see it as 4 and 5. From episode 8, we see the apartment numbers as 19 and 20. They stay as 19 and 20 the entire series. The producers realized that you have to walk upstairs to get to the apartments. Therefore, they can't be 4 and 5, which would be ground floor numbers. They had to be 19 and 20 in order to be first floor numbers. I really hope you have enjoyed this episode. I have really enjoyed making it for you and researching it. Have a look in the description box below for any additional words or phrases that could be helpful, and watch it again. Enjoy it in its complete form, inclusive of pop culture references, and I will see you again soon for episode number